Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are well. I am here with the 100-day project, and it's a bit of a difficult one today. So it's day 58, and it's the request is from Fiona, and she's in New Zealand, and it's Scottish schoolgirl samplers. So I'm pretty sure most of you know what a sampler is. It's like an embroidery sampler. I think that's what she means, not a quilt sampler. And so I printed up this one as an example. So this was from a school, but this is in England by Frances Ray, and they dated it. And I think pretty much basically they would work at a very young age doing these. And they would practice stitches. So it could be cross stitch, it could be sort of a line stitch and all that sort of thing, like satin stitch, any kind of stitches, but quite often it was cross stitch. Here's another one. I think this one was quite hard to find Scottish ones. I think this was a Scottish one, but I couldn't tell you whether the person was at school or not. But that $17.99, they often put their name or initials in there as well, and there might be a saying and that sort of thing. And they're really, I absolutely love them. I do absolutely love them. Sometimes they were just script, like or something from the Bible, so like this one, and this was 1731 by Rebecca Rowe. They could have been like this one. So many different varieties. This one has cross stitch but also sort of like a satin stitch, which I think this is beautiful. This one's English. Peggy Dodge Sample. I reckon they're probably at school, and they were amazing embroiderers. And often there was the alphabet as well. So that's to give you an idea what a sampler is if you didn't know. I've taken it, Fiona, as that type of sampler. Here's another alphabet one. I've just got a whole variety of things here that I might like to use. This is another sampler. So they're just trying, they would try out patterns and techniques to learn. In Italian, they're called imparaticio. I actually have a few of those floating around somewhere. And here's another one, alphabet or different types of stitches. And then another one here. This was quite common for them to be quite symmetrical. So I thought this was quite a hard challenge because of course I could do a cross stitch, a sampler cross stitch, and that would be inspired by. I could also do sewing and have, like slow stitching, but we're kind of doing that. We've been doing a bit of that already, that sort of thing. So what I thought I would do, I'd do it with paper, and I thought I'd make some journaling cards or pockets, surprise, surprise. Or I could do envelopes, whatever you like, or just a collage page. And I thought my inspiration could be, and I don't know if it's going to work, it could be like a dog's breakfast, but I was thinking quite often the samplers, I probably didn't choose the best examples to show you that, but quite often they're divided into like sections. They could be like horizontal sections, they could even be boxed in. I've got many saved in the computer, so each part is like a section. And so I thought maybe it would be fun, I don't know if it'll work, if I did the journaling cards sort of in sectioned off like a sampler. I'm wondering if it will work. May or may not. So I've got all of these things. I did print, this is like an embroidered fabric. They were, they're fragments from England, I think they were, or France. So I thought they could be nice little sample pieces. So I'm going to take it, do a little bit mix of little bits of embroidery pieces, and then little bits. This is like a lace sample book, not a sampler. But then there's little bits of trim, little bits of sidewall, piece of fabric. I just thought it might be fun to do like a sample journaling card. So I do have some, oops, sorry guys. I do have some, oh, that's just cardstock. Let me just see if I've got any more. I do. I've got a few, what are they called? Project Life cards here. And I've also got this as well. If I want to use this, I could trim that down to about that size. I think I probably want about that size. My ruler's in the other room. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'll have to try to use my artisan one. Don't know how good that... Oh, it's okay for tearing. It's not too bad. Push come to shove, I could have just picked up my, what's it called? Trimmer. That would have been a good idea. But I arrived to those conclusions afterwards. So, I'm not quite sure. So, let me think. Oh, here I have a piece of very old book page. I'll tell you the date of this one. I've just been working on some journals. This one is 1863. It's an end paper. I think I might glue that down on there. That's going to be my background. Let's pretend it's the fabric. That's a stretch of the imagination. So this is just an interpretation. You could do this with fabrics. I thought about that, but I'm a bit late today. I'm not that organised. And I had a chat to my sister today. She rang me. It was a bit of a surprise because we already spoke the other day, but she needed to tell me some things. So that's very crooked, isn't it? And now I will get my trimmer. I'm a bit disorganised. Bit late. No, I'm not disorganised. I'm just late. I had a list of things to get through. Now I'm just a little bit late now, that's all. But that's okay. You can't, you know, you have to take it as it comes. Just take it as it comes, because what else can you do? Right, so that's my background. So we're pretending like it's kind of textural and old and yummy, a bit like the fabrics. So we don't mind if we see that. And then I'm just going to sort of have little sections. So I'm going to cut out this little, I think this was a fragment of a piece of fabric. And I'll just grab my, don't need that. I'll just grab my, I've still got my envelopes. Oh, I stitched those. I didn't show you those. So they are stitched now. So I stitched across there and stitched around, and I rounded the corners. I'm very happy with those. Love the fish one. I think that one's my favourite. I do like the owl though as well. And then this was the other one. And I do really like those. I think I might do some more of them. I've got plenty of napkins. I'm not lacking in those. So I could probably do some more. Right, so let's trim out this little one. And I'm not going to do torn edges. It's going to be more geometrical, because that's how samplers are. They're quite geometrical normally. Well, the cross-stitch ones that pop to my mind are quite geometrical. So we can have something like, so it's going to be a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. I'm just going to cut that one away. So who knows if this will work? It might not work. It may be no good. I may not have what I need. And rather than have these as fragments, I'm going to cut them straight. Because as I said, I want everything straight. I'm going to get my trimmer back up. Oh, it is here. Look, it may not work, guys. You may want to tune out right now. That might be the smart thing to do, is move on, because this could be a total flop. I think that will fit nicely there. And you could mix it in with fabric as well, if you want to. Have a mix of papers and fabrics. So they kind of look like a sampler, like samples. Samples. Okay, and then we can have what? See, I thought maybe I could cut little bits out of those as well. I'm going to cut this one out. Where's my scissors? Here they are. Okay, so what do I think I would like the, yes, I could get that bit there. So where's the trimmer gone? I've lost my trim. Oh, here it is. It's on my table. I know that I need it, but I cannot see for looking. Trim that off. I want the bunny. So I hope you're all well. Did I ask that? I didn't ask. I hope everybody is well, crafting away, staying indoors, or are we all allowed outdoors now? So that could go, I'll have to trim a little bit off there. It can go there. And then I've got to keep that little bit. You never know, might need it. I need something else. Oh, I know. I've got the sample piece here. Now, what could I cut from there? That would be perfect. Or that. So let's just take it off there. And of course, this was not a quick process for me getting organised because, no, I had to muck around with it all. I put it on the page so I could print as much as I could on my piece of paper, you know, that all that jazz. So really making it a bit more like a sample of a whole lot of stuff. I'm hoping this is going to be, yes. Okay. I need to just trim a little bit more off that one. You're not used to me doing straight lines. Right, so it could be just something different. And you could just, it could be nice to stitch around each one. I think that would be a nice effect. That's just popped into my mind. So I'm just going to glue them down vaguely. If I can get myself organised. Here we go, don't need that. Right. Oh, dearie me. I am liking that. It's really just a whole collection of things that I like. Oh, I was going to glue it down vaguely and I've put glue everywhere. No worries. Put that one there. And you want to try and get it straight if you can. Oh yeah, on the reverse side of this one you can see printing because my printer printed with lines. I've been having a bit of a bother with it lately. It's all right now, but it's just been playing up, eating my papers, putting ink splotches everywhere. I've been doing a little bit of maintenance. I don't know if this is just like totally a weird thing to do, but anyway. This is what came to mind with the sampler. I didn't really want to sit down and do a cross-stitch sampler. I could have done some sewing, as I mentioned, and you probably would have enjoyed that. But I think we've done quite a lot of sewing, and it would be just a bit more of this, of something similar. And I think there are more requests for sewing projects down the track, so I thought I'd do it with paper, see what turned out. Now, probably if I had something that sort of lined up, that would be more true to a sampler, but anyway, you do what you can. I'm just going to take my cardigan off. Okay, and I'm going to first of all back this. Now, what will I back it with? Well, I've got all these lovely papers still floating around from the other day, so let me just see. I haven't put any of them away. I did this. Did I show you that? I collaged this. I think I might have showed you that. Everything's just sitting on my table. Let's see what colour. No, I don't want that one. So these are left over from the other day. I'm just trying to find one where I feel like the colours go. I may not find it here. No. Okay, well, I'm just going to do it with that's boring though. No, find something else. Let me find something else. Where did that come from? Oh, that was left over from the other day. Forgot about that one. Put that over there. Wouldn't that be wonderful if I were to put things away from one video to the next? That would be really the smart thing to do. What's in this one? See, this is another sample. This is just, I can't remember whether this came from the Met or somewhere like that. It's a whole sample. It's all like lots of bits and pieces of different stitching, and it's a whole book. Well, that could have been, oh yes, that could potentially be nice. That bit there that you can write on, I'll put that on the back. How about that? And then I'm going to round the corner. Oh, I was going to stitch around them all. Oh gosh, how quickly do I forget things? So quickly. Got a bit of glue on there. I wanted to stitch around them. I felt like that would be a nice touch. So let's hope that glue doesn't bother me, but anyway, we'll see. And I'm just going to straight stitch around each one. And you could use a contrasting thread if you want to. I've just got like a sort of linen-y, ecru-y sort of colour. Okay, just slide it on out a little bit and then hop over to the next one. Might trim some of those threads off while I'm here. And I think this would be a very nice thing to do with different pieces of fabric too. Or a mix. Okay. So that will be a little bit bumpy to write on. So you could back it with like cardstock if you want to. Now, I've just got to snip off here. See, I jumped across from each one, so you just snip that off. And then I need to do it at the back. Oh no, I already snipped those ones off. So that's the front. I really like that. Okay, and then I was going to glue it to there. So let's get some glue on here. I think it'd be a cute pocket too. And I'm going to put it that way because I'm putting it on the part that I felt like was a bit lighter colour. So there are a few bumps because this is just regular copy paper. And we're going to, I'll just take it off here and then we're going to trim it. It's probably a weird interpretation, I know, but you know. It's my interpretation. And so then I'll just, I can't line it up because it's crooked. And then I wanted to, there's something different. I wanted to put that on the floor, if I can, round my corners, if I didn't stitch too close. And I'm going to zigzag around it. I don't think I glued it all the way. You could glue it all the way and not stitch around. I love that. Oh, I think that's fun. I'm glad it turned out. Well, I think it turned out. So then the next thing, the other thing that I feel like I would do is put something like a fabric tab on it. Yep, I'm going to zigzag that on right there. Just going to lay it on the front. Okay, so I will say I did, it seems like I put them on around, but I did actually think about sort of my colours and the textures. I tried to mix the textures up as well. I really like that. That's something different. Okay, so that's number one. Let's do another one. Well, this one, first of all, I think I'll cover it with that, so I'll do that straight away. Maybe I'll put that on that side because that will cover the colourful part up. I might put glue right to the edge. Oh, I will stitch around it anyway, but I might not do it now. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, I've done it now because I'm going to stitch around them. I wonder if that would be too messy as my background. That might be too messy. I think that's going to be too messy as my background. Just snip that one off. We'll see. Let's try. That's too, you see, then now I've got the problem of them being too similar. Where's my cutter? Here I was thinking I was, you know, streamlining the process. I had that piece of paper there and I jumped the gun, although I quite like it as the background. I just have to be careful what I choose to put on there. So I've got, what have I got here that could fit one of those? I have some of this. Would go there, and then see if I use one of that a bit of the cross stitch ones, then they kind of will blend in too much, I think. Now that could work. Unless I decide to just do a plain background. Well, that works. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Just so I don't have to, and then I'll do another one. And you can see little peeps of the other one there. I'm just going to trim this one down a little bit. Due to the very crooked cutting that I did. Yeah, that's going to go there. I trim this one off there. That one there, just trim that bit off there as well. Good. Oh, I'm quite enjoying this. So I'll just put a little bit of glue so I don't have too much glue to stitch around. And the nice thing, I mean, I know I'm covering up that beautiful piece behind, but we'll get little peeps of it out. And I felt like it's fitting. And the nice thing about a printable is you can print it up again. Wouldn't these be fun? I think these would be really fun as postcards to send to somebody. Oops, like someone like my mum would love a postcard like that. She loves sewing and she loves anything old and textures. And I left the blue. I didn't want to cut the blue off. You know, and then maybe further down the track, I mean, I could have done much more elaborate sort of things with this idea. Maybe further down the track after the 100-day project, when I feel like I've got a bit more time, I can, I'm just going to stitch. I can, oh, I've got the zigzag going. Okay, this one I'll zigzag. I can do a more elaborate project with some of the ideas. Because some of them do lend themselves to a longer sort of project, I think. I'll just end it there. I'm going to go and do this one. Sometimes I just like to get my threads off as I go. Oh, God. Oh, Lunu. Why'd you go and bake something?
I had to finish that art stuff. I will never finish otherwise.
True. True. Well, I'm doing my video right now, so if you're wanting something from me, you're going to have to wait.
No, not. I just wondering.
Well, I bought strawberries. I bought what are they called? Strawberries and cherries and.
But I have to prepare this.
Oh, Lily, you got black under your nose. Oh my goodness, you look like you've got a moustache up your nose. Who knows? Oh, I like it with the zigzag. Another fun thing to do would be, I was thinking this was going to be a label-free video, Sherry. Oh my, now she looks like she's got a moustache. Why have you got that all over your face?
I don't know.
What is that from?
Maybe, wait,
Sherry, I was thinking you could put a little label there with a date. That could be
when I
fun.
was getting a pencil from my finger, touched my ink thing and it might have been dirty. And maybe then I dirtied my finger and then touched my face without realising.
Oh, dearie me. I think I might put some straw paper on the back of this one. Okay. We're not lacking in that, are we? And then I'll stitch around this one afterwards and I'll show you tomorrow. Just so I'm not always stitching. Move that over there.
I'll eat some later.
Lulu, there's strawberries, cherries,
Yeah, but I have
and
to do my
raspberries.
stuff. I don't have
Yeah,
time
but take you
to
2
prepare that.
seconds to prepare strawberries. 2 seconds.
It's right.
Very happy with that one. And I must say I do like the zigzagging. I'll show you in a second. So today we've had a further change. We are now allowed to go into other regions, so other states, like we're in Emilia-Romagna and we're allowed to go to Tuscany if we want to. And they've done that because it's, you know, kind of summer. And so that way tourism can start happening again. We still have not understood if we're allowed to, you know, have friends over for dinner. That nobody mentioned that. Don't you think that's very inconsiderate of them not to mention whether we're allowed to have? And then if you, oh, well, that's got nothing to do with the sampler, but I would like to put that there. I would. Or without. With or without. Okay, well, I'll think about that. I did like it with that. And I'm going to put a little bit of, I might put the lace as a tab, but I might cut it. Don't want it too wide. And then that will be folded over. That will be the tab. Yes, I like that. So I'll do that afterwards. We'll put that one aside. I'll put it on the sewing machine. Well, I'll have to move it afterwards. So we'll do another one. Right. So I think I did like that paper behind, but I might just put some of this old paper behind. So I need to put my glue on here and then glue it to that paper. This was just a Maggie Holmes Project Life card. I had bought some of her Project Life cards as, you know, digital kits because it was very expensive when that, well, it still is expensive. Actually, it's even worse now than it was before, the prices. Because I'm sorry, but in the US, you used to have those flat rate packs for $12.95. I remember them, and I could fit 8 yards of fabric in them for the same price. And then they went up to something like $22.95 or $24.95. I can't remember. And now sometimes people are charging $32.95 to ship here. So I guess it's gone up even further. So I do think, you know, anyway, I had bought the digital Project Life card. And also the kits, I found that, like the Project Life kits, the full ones, were I found them expensive. I thought they were expensive. So I bought the digital ones and I print them out and then use them. And then I also found, even though I wasn't a paper crafter, I found I hoarded them. So that wasn't part of what I was doing this one. Okay, so we've got this. So you could cut out any of this. What about, I might cut that out. So I'm dismantling this sampler. I mean, that would be a beautiful, just, you could back that and it could be a lovely journal card. I'll try and go as straight as I can. Maybe I haven't cut that bit there. Let's do that bit first. I'm going to capture the writing, I think. Now, I could have that. Ooh, I might cut that right there and have it go right to the top. Oh, yes. Okay. Then, I might have a piece of this. Don't want a big piece. That off. So I'm just squaring this off because as I mentioned, I'm having everything squared off today. Everything geometrical. Put that one maybe there like that. So this one might only have 3 pieces on it. And I want something a little bit more. I love the red writing. I mean, you could even collate something from this back on there, but I don't think so. Done that one. Oh, I do like the deer. Just let me chop that off. See if I like the deer. To chop a little bit more off. Hopefully I didn't chop too much off. So you could recollate. Actually, that could be a good idea. Why don't I re-put together into the journaling card that one. Oh, the boat. Let's get the boat. Now, how wide do I need to do the boat? Well, let's get the other house. Decisions. Right, and then I'm going to chop along there. This is fun. Don't really want to. Right there. Okay, where the P. I think it's a P there. I didn't really want to chop the other house, but anyway. Oh, look, I will. I can't use it anyway. It'll be a funny shape. I'll just chop right down. There we go. Okay. I'm just looking. I look on the pattern, the cross stitch pattern, to see where do I need to cut it. I quite like that. There we go. I mean, they're not perfectly the same size or anything like that, but they'll do. And I'll do that one on another one. And you could also, if you had, some nice pens or something, you could like draw, do X's around or, that sort of thing around each box. You could stitch around with a contrasting thread. Could be good. So many ideas. So many things can happen. I actually quite like the one on the busy background. I think I quite like that. Move this over a bit closer. Oh no, I think that one was at the top, wasn't it? And then I've got this one. And then I'll stitch around those. Now let me think. Do I like the zigzag? I do like the zigzag. And that's the straight stitch. I think I'll zigzag around these because it's quite beige. Oh, I think we might do an envelope. Just a minute. Oh, goodness me. I'm tangled. My thread is tangled. I'll just cut it. And then it won't be tangled anymore because I will have cut it off. Look at all that tangle. Okay, so trim off the extra threads. I like it with the stitching around it. I'll back it afterwards. I don't know what I'm going to put on there. Good way to repurpose the project life cards, and that I think that one will have a bit of lace or a bit of hemp as a tab as well. Or a bit of ticking would be nice too. So that's that one. We'll just, oh no, around the corners afterwards. So I'll put that one aside. I wanted to just do a, like I bought these really nice envelopes the other day from Amazon. And this one has the lovely brown inside and it's a cream colour. I bought some glassine ones. It's really nice. I've been really enjoying putting those into journals. And then I bought these craft ones. So I thought we might do a craft one. Because you don't have to worry about the background. And luck would have it, I have that. I want to see how an envelope would turn out. So first I'm going to trim off that, and that's crooked, so I have to trim that off as well. Or I could trim it down and have that there, so we'll just decide. So yeah, with this, because it's very geometrical, and I'm not, what's the word, tearing or anything like that, I've kind of been careful about where to cut it. Being careful also where I'm gluing things as well, because I want them to fit. So this was just a fragment of fabric, and I thought I don't know, I might change my mind, but that could be good there. And then maybe not that one. Oh, what's this? Oh, I forgot about this one too. That one's really cute. And I forgot about those. Anything else floating around that I've forgotten about? Oh yes, a whole page here. one too. I might like that one there. Trim a bit more off. That there, I've changed my mind. Then I would need something for my edge, like that. Put that aside. That's not long enough. Oh, here we go. This could be my edge down here. Let's just see what happens. It could be a big mess. Go like that. And then where's that one I already cut there? Have that there. Okay, let's... I already had one there. Okay, let me see. Oh, that's upside down, that one. So I'll choose this one. So let's mark it. And I'm going to cut that off. And that's going to go there. Now it looks a bit crooked to me. That's better. So I'll glue that one down because I've already decided on that one. Where's my glue book? Oh, on the floor. So if I decided to, I could even decide that I want to stitch around them, in which case I would have to open up my envelope and then I would be able to stitch around them. So we'll just see how we go. I might not like it without the stitching. Doing that one down there. I need to trim this one. So this one I need to trim. I wanted to keep the purpley bit. Excuse me. Just trim a little bit more off the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to trim that bit off. And I want that to go to there. And I've marked it on the back so that way I don't have to worry about having the marking on the front. Okay, so that's going to go there. It's my little patchwork of stuff. Oh, I've got pennies everywhere. Just there we go. Oh, I really do like this. I'm liking it. Now, so you wouldn't throw away all these little bits because you can use them. Just seeing what else I've got. Oh, what's this? No. So now I've got to find bits and pieces that will sort of all fit in. I do really like this script here. It's a little bit wonky. I love that border too. I would never get rid of that. Okay, and then I think I'd like it up there. Okay, let me see if that will fit. A little bit more off I have to take. A little bit more. Take a tiny bit off there. Yep. Oh, and wouldn't it be fun to make little stamps out of the embroideries? That would be fun too. Little sampler stamps. I'm going to write that down. I might forget about that. So, of course, if you're not going to stitch around this, you know, around each one, then make sure they're glued down well. Okay, and then what do we have? I decided no to that one. I think felt like it's too bright. So I need something that's wide enough. That could be nice. Maybe something a bit. Let me just chop down some of these. This is my sampler envelope. To chop a little bit more off that one. So yeah, so if you're not, I'm not measuring or anything, so you need to just make sure you leave a little bit more than what you need when chopping. And I'm wondering, yeah, no, I'm going to put that there. And maybe this one. Okay, and then, oh, that's not wide enough. Okay, have it like that. And then, I know I've got little pieces everywhere. That's it. So, where do I need to cut that? Oh, I can flip it over and cut it. pen. Well, this was a bit of fun for me. I enjoyed doing this. And drop a little bit of that one. A little bit more. A little bit more. There you go. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to stitch around each one, so I might have to open my envelope or not, but just to give you an idea. And as I said, then you can stick a label on there, you can put a date on there, you could put an address on there if you want to mail it out. Stick it in a journal, put flower on there, put a bird on there. So then you can go and do what we would normally do and then stick a flower. Before I go, we'll just have a look at that and see what that looks like. I really like that. So totally different to what we normally do with the tearing and the overlapping. It's a bit more, if you go and look at the samplers, as I said, they are always quite, except for this sort of thing, they are quite schematic quite often. Like this is quite schematic. This is lovely, this one. This, as I said, is an English one, Ackworth School. Francis Reid. So I got those from various websites, Smithsonian, Met, open access programs. Yeah, and that, like, for example, this one it was on a blue background. I took all of that away so I didn't waste ink. And I just wanted to see here quickly if I were to then, if it would work, because obviously I haven't, oh, like, for example, these would be really nice on there. These symbols here and there, like over there. If you then wanted to go and do the regular sort of collagey bit. Oh, I might do one on the back of that. What fun. I don't know if I've got anything in here that I want to put on there, but we'll have a look. It's a bit of a mess, really. Yeah, you can stick a flower on there, not that flower. I know, I think I would need to stick a butterfly on there would be nice. I would need to go into my folder and I don't want to pull it out because I'm in such a mess here. I can find my scissors though, that's a miracle. Maybe a stamp would be nice on there. We might have a look at that as well. Of course, this is not a sampler. That was a border from something. And this obviously wasn't there, like those, maybe a remnant from waistcoats or dresses. Okay, I did cut a little bit of my butterfly. So, for example, you could then add that, and now I did see my stamp book somewhere the other day. I did see it and now I've lost it again. Here it is. So, for example, you could put a stamp on. Oh, I love that. Oh, I think that's really jovial. I really like that. It's a jolly, jolly envelope. I sound like my aunt. She says, jolly, you jolly. I like the Queen on there too. Let's see this one. I think I'll put the Italian one. And yeah, I go and try them all and then I like something else. I'm going to put the butterfly on. I'm just going to go with it. And I'm going to put the Italian stamp on. Oh, I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it. I keep saying that every day. You see, I'm struggling because I'm just behind all the time, and I don't feel like I've got time to think. And so then I think, oh, I can't do the video today because I just can't think about it. And then it just sort of comes to me. I'm really happy with that. So that is the envelope. I'm not even going to stitch around it. I could have just carefully with with this knife, carefully gone under there and opened it, or I could have trimmed off the edge here like a small piece and opened it out and then stitched down the sides, and that would have closed it back up again. And I could have stitched around each individual one, which would also be very nice. I mean, you could go and do some scripty stamping on there. Then you can, go on as much as you like. Now, this one I haven't backed yet. I'll do that after, but that's a little sampler. And I did mention that it might be nice to put like an empty label. I think these are too small. Yep, an empty label would be nice somewhere, and you could stamp a little date in there. This is what I was thinking. Really fun. Yep, I've really enjoyed. Oh, here, like, one, even if you want a pretend date, like one of Tracy's in there. And then this one, I love them. They're so different. So this one I'm going to stitch that on there, and that's just got straw paper on the back, and then this was the first one. And again, this one too could have a little something somewhere if you wanted to, or just be as it is. Like something up there maybe. But no, I'm not doing any labels today. We're having a break from labels today. Yep, so I enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Fiona. That was really a stretch of the imagination that we got there. And of course, if I were to do a stitching project, it would be ideal. You just do like a sample sort of thing with all different stitches and different fabrics and laces. That would be fun too. But as I said, I might do that down the track. You guys just remind me if I forget. I'll probably write it down. But yeah, I think that is really, really fun. Something different. And I love the envelope. Really fun. And because these all have lovely textures too. They, like in the image. So I think they're great. So I hope you enjoyed that. I did. And I will see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be a challenge as well, but we will see. I'll get there. And have a great day. Bye.